Up next on Sci-Fi Fantasy, building Krypto. Hey everybody, it's Kenny Conklin from SciFiFantasy.com and welcome to another YouTube video. So today in the video we're going to take a look at the finishing up of Krypto the Superdog, who's right over here on the base next to the little dragon. So as usual, I'm going to bust your chops. Hopefully you guys come over to SciFiFantasy.com and register at the site and check everything out, post your builds and all that other good stuff over there. So enough about all of that, let's just get right into Krypto. Well, next up on the Superboy build is Krypto here, who was a mess with seams. He had huge seams down the side, on the front of his legs, on his butt. He had totally a bunch of seams because of how the kit goes together. And on this side too, my little stick is shaky. Got rid of all the seams over here and then towards the front over here. So the next thing he's in primer to do is spray the puppy down white and start getting some color on him. So for Krypto, we're going to be using Ammo by MIG Satin White. Sorry about the blurriness of Krypto. I didn't have my little guy helping me out with the video. So with the ammo, I was telling you in the other video, you got to do really light coats, because sometimes if you build it up too quickly, you're either going to get a very flat coat with your gloss and your semi-glosses and stuff like that, or you're going to end up pitting the paint. So what you have to do is put a light layer, let it dry, use your hair dryer, or you can actually just use the air from the airbrush without spraying any more paint, and it dries pretty quickly. And then you'll put your second layer on, your third layer, and so you build up the density of paint you want on there to cover up what's going on. Here Krypto's all in white. He's got his satin sheen on there. He had a little rough spot on both sides. I don't know what that came from, so once I was done I would have to sand that out, get that clean. Up on his ear there was a little hole, so I had to take care of that, but otherwise he came out good. A little touch-ups, sanding, and then I resprayed him to get his coat perfect. Next up, I'm using the Tamiya masking tape. This is the flexible one, so you can go around curves. I have 3 different diameters of this tape, which helps out a lot with different sizes and different masking areas that you got to use. The stuff is great. I never ever get a bleed with this. You put it down really tight and you can pull it around pretty much any curve and it works really great. As you can see here, I'm just pulling tight, putting it down and going around Krypto's collar. And I'll just make it all the way back around to where I started. This way everything gets covered up and I got a nice even line going around the bottom of his collar. And again, I'm sorry about any blurriness. I was all by myself, so it was tough doing this video. Now once I got that layer on, I'm just going to start the tape up again here, and then we'll start on the top of Krypto's collar and get that done, and we'll do the same thing. We're just going to pull it around the curve. As you can see, it pulls around nice tight. So if you don't have any of the Tamiya tape, I got this on Amazon. It was a 3-pack of all the different sizes. The only thing with the small one, it's so thin that it kind of like becomes a cone up in the middle, so you got to try to keep it flat. That's the only bad thing about the smallest one itself. But again, I just pulled it around and got a nice tight line. This way I could start painting up Krypto's collar without any worries about bleed or anything like that into the white. And then another little snip and I'm done with that. Push it down, see how I can pull it up easy, slap it down, and he's all done. So next up, he's all in green tape. I don't want to get anything on the white. And then we're going to move over to Tamiya paints, and I'm going to do the yellow for the collar. Now with the Tamiya paints, I've never had a problem putting a little bit of a thicker coat on instead of going light layers. I don't put it heavy, but I put it a little thicker. This way it covers quicker, and I've never ever had a problem with it bubbling up or anything like that. I mean, I'm not just soaking it on there where it's going to run, but I do put a heavier layer on there. This way I can get the color on there quicker. And then in between, I am drying with the air and adding more. So that's how that came out. Now, here is Krypto's collar all done, and we're pulling off the tape. This way we can see what's going on. And there's my blurriness. I promise that won't happen in the next video. I try to get them in focus here for you. And then I'm going to pull off the bottom set here, this way you can see it. Now I did tape a little bit messed up where some of the top and bottom of the collar is a little white, but there's not much, so I just took a very small brush and I touched that up instead of going through the whole hassle of taping them up again and repainting it. It was easy enough just to get that little bit of white on his collar. And there he is, all in his glory. He's coming along, and we're going to have a little bitty doggy. Yay, Krypto. So here's Krypto, and I've ran out of tape, or not ran out of tape, it actually shut off on me while I was doing his eyes. So once I was done with him, I clear coated him gloss to keep the paint sealed. And then the next thing we're doing is going on to the cape, and I just primed it up. After priming it, I hit it with Tamiya red, and then I'm going to gloss coat it just to seal in that paint again. And now here you can see how the S is thick at the top and very thin at the bottom. I was going to use JT Graphic decals, but as you can see here, the S is different from what's on the cape, and it's the same thing on Superboy himself. The S's are different, so if I wanted to use these decals, I would have had to sand everything off. I got the decals after I started doing this, so I didn't know how it was going to end up. But if I do Superboy again, I have the decals, and I'll just sand that stuff off because JT Graphics makes some pretty good decals. So instead of using a paintbrush for the S, the black outline, I got Faber-Castell permanent markers, and I just drew it on. So after I used the marker on his cape, you can see the black outlining the S over there. We have Krypto's little cape on, which I did in a semi-gloss. I wanted to look a little shiny and a little different. And here's Krypto. I tried doing a wash on his paws and stuff, but it wasn't holding and it didn't look right. And also my buddy John Hunt gave me an idea of using a little black line to make his eyes pop out more, but I think the eyes are gonna stay like that because I was a little scared to put the black on there. They look decent enough, and it kind of looks like the comic book how I wanted to. So now Krypto is done. So that's it for the Krypto portion of this build. Up next, I'm going to be taking a look at, well, not really taking a look at, we're going to do the little dragon guy over here who looks like he's trying to give Krypto a hug, but he's really not. He's supposed to be attacking him. So that'll be the next thing up on the next video, and then Superboy will probably be the last figure, and then we'll do the base, unless I do it in a little bit of a different order. So thank you everybody for stopping by and checking out the video. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button, the little notification icon at the bottom. This way you know every time a video is up. And if you have any questions or comments on anything on this video or anything else, please drop them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So I hope you all have a great night. Take care, and bye-bye.